Hello Year 8 and welcome back to our Week 7, Week 8 lesson on drawing a letter on the cereal box. Last day, if you remember, it was getting quite late and I was doing the letter H, okay, and if you can see, we talked that we would fill these in at the next stage, okay, but meanwhile that's the letter with all the straight edges, so that will apply to your T and that will apply to your L, etc. Okay, and I want to just give you a wee hand here by showing you the letter B. If you remember, I had drawn on the letter B, okay, and I had said that I would try and do a little example of a letter that has both straight edges and some curves as well. Okay, so again, the main thing is to think twice and cut once. Make sure that you look at what it is that you are doing and cut, try and save as much of the box as you possibly can before you actually cut. All right, so we want to save, if we've got our B here, if you can see in the video, you've got your B here. This is the spine of the B, so we're going to be able to save this whole part of the box here, okay, and we'll be able to save the bottom of the box, and we're going to be able to save actually most of the top of the box as well, okay. And you can see that where the B touches off the edges here, we'll be able to save this part, and that's why I got you to draw those lines on, and likewise there it touches off the sides, and therefore we'll be able to save this part. So it's really this negative space here and in here that we're going to be starting to cut away with. So let's see. Now I want to be able to keep as much of the box as I can, so I'm going to cut down there just right to the edge, okay, so just cut down just on the little flap. Okay, and I don't want to cut too much, just always think about what you're doing before you cut. Now, I'm going to have to find a wee spot for cutting, okay, and I am going to then save this little spine here, and we're going to then fold that back in, okay, so we're cutting these, and if we move down here, then this means then that we're going to be able to fold that in. Now if I keep this wee bit here, see this wee bit here, you probably want to actually cut that away, but that actually acts as a little base for you to then rest this on. And this is where you have your masking tape ready. Now those bits are very big and very crude, and when you're doing curves, if you want to stick her to a perfect curve, what you can do is you can actually cut those in little strips. Okay, so let me just show you about sticking those on. Okay, so you can see there, those wee tiny bits allow you to get a really nice even cut. Okay, again, I'm going to cut that again. All right. And just going to, if you just lay them on top and just try and butt them edge to edge. Remember, I had said in the last one, the one that I was doing for the letter H, the importance is about getting a lovely, sharp, crisp edge. Those wee corners, get them really nice and sharp, okay? Because whenever you bring these in to be assessed, we're going to be wanting to look and see just how particular and how precise you were in your overall finish. Okay, so we're placing those wee bits on. Getting them all nicely edged, making your little masking tape that wee bit thinner allows you to do that really nice and tidy. Great for curves. Always when you're doing curves, the same in paper mache, the secret is to do nice little small pieces. Okay. And those allow you to get a lovely crisp edge. Okay. And the beauty is that with this bit, we can now use the bigger pieces. Okay, hopefully you can see there. All right, and let's just see if we can put, for the sake of the demo, I'm going to put a great big piece right across. All right. Sometimes a big piece right across can be very untidy. Remember, we want to keep our masking tape nice and flat. All right, and keep it really lovely and tidy, because again, as I said in the last video, this is like building a house. You need to get your wee foundations correct, get them all right, otherwise it's a wee bit like the house that Jack built. I'm just going to tidy up those wee pieces there. Okay. All right, and you can see then that you've got that nice little curve. Now this bit here's that wee bit more tricky, because obviously you are going to need a scalpel for that, or perhaps get a member of your family or somebody just that wee bit bigger to help you with cutting that. But part of that can be saved as well. So I'm going to use my scissors because it's unfair if I use a scalpel and you haven't got one. So I'm going to just cut a wee nibble in there and save all of the box. Think, how could I really creatively use that box? Okay, and I can still, I'll be able to fold that in, but I need to think about where I cut. So think twice and cut once. Okay, we're cutting that. So this wee bit will fold in round the B. And this is the same if you're doing a P or if you're doing an R. Okay, or any of those letters that have a wee mixture of curve and angles. There, and that'll fold in there. And that little gap now will allow me to go round here. And likewise at the other side. Okay. Alright, and we can fold that in for the wee demonstration. If you can see, you can fold that in that way and that in that way. And hopefully you'll see it better there if I hold it up. Those then can fold in. And again, don't cut away this little area here, alright, because that's good to rest this on. All those wee bits and pieces are all great and just help you along the way. Now, because that's not just as tight as what it is up here, this means that I can use possibly bigger pieces of masking tape. I tend to stick it on the bit that I'm folding in round, and that then allows me to use this like a little, almost like a little handle, and just pull it in close. Okay, let's see. All right. Oh. Now, masking tape doesn't stay sticky for too long, and certainly with the heat of this room, it can be very poor. But what we can do is we will create a coat, a full coat of paper mache over this at the end, just to hold it in place. So really, it will look like this, a full coat of paper mache, just using kitchen roll and wallpaper paste, and that steadies it in place and it firms it up so that whenever you go to build out, it's that wee bit stronger. But we'll get to that in the next video, just learning to paper mache. Okay. If you prefer to use the smaller pieces, that's okay. Now, there will be a gap here because that area wasn't long enough to fill that little space. So I am going to have to try and find a wee bit of extra card to fill those gaps. Okay, because there shouldn't be any gaps. All right. There we go. Okay, there we go. All right. And again, as I said, we'll find something to fill that in because there shouldn't be any wee spaces around where you can put your hands in. Okay. Finish off this bottom piece. Just cut, think twice, cut once. All right. That one hadn't been marked on. We'll need bigger pieces, some thinner pieces of masking tape. Always need the wee smaller bits for these nice wee intricate areas. If you want to do it really well. Okay. And I always say to you in class that in art, presentation is everything. So I want to see that you are really thinking about the presentation and the overall finish at all times. Don't be just accepting to leave wee flappy bits of cardboard. Make sure you get them all placed on. Okay. It's hard to see because that side there is so busy. When I look up at my little video here, it's hard to see just that bit of card with the busyness of the Cocoa Puffs. Cut that, just cut your masking tape just in half for all those wee curves. All right. And then we're going to close that over at the top. and make it really nice and tidy. Always try and match it up as if it's the way it had been bought out of the shop. Okay, it wouldn't have been all squeezed tight in at one side and wider here. Okay, it would have been nice and even. Now, if you want to really get your masking tape sticky, stick something like the scissors in and really use it to hold the little flap down. Make sure the masking tape's really nice and smooth, make sure it's nice and flat, and we're going to finish this bit off here. In fact, that wee bit there, if that's falling in, you could also, I may as well bring that out and stick it to the outer side, and that will stop that from caving down through. Okay. Alright, and just finish off, make sure it's nice and tight. Okay. Alright, so you can start to see your bee, you can see the little curve. Some of you may have made your curve that wee bit bigger, and that's okay. Alright, and we're just going to then do these little centre pieces. Now this is where ideally you would have somebody help give you a wee hand with a knife. But I need to do it as though you haven't got a knife. Okay, so that everybody has a fair chance here. Okay, so just using the scissors, and what I can do is I can actually fold this in like the little door that we used in the H, and I'm going to do the same at the other side because there's not really any other way that we can do this. So we're going to just use the scissors, cut out the little curve. Okay, and again here. It's all quite tricky. This is probably the trickiest part of the cutting process, I think. And this normally challenges pupils quite a bit. Okay, so you can start to see those wee bits being cut out. And then we'll go to this side. Nearly there. Okay, let's see, I keep saying okay. I'm very conscious of that now. Didn't realise I said it just as much as what I did. Right. So that's great. Now we can actually fold those wee bits in, and they actually just overlap enough, but not that much that they come out the other side. So we can just then attach those. Okay. With a wee bit of masking tape, and just hold them down. So remember, this is the same concept really applies here with things like R, with P, probably Q actually, and an O and a C. All have a wee bit of a straight edge and all have a few curves. All right. Now there are gaps in here. If you look, I can see, I can put my hand in, there's wee gaps that need to be filled in, all those little spaces in there. Okay, in this wee space. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to do the S as my next video, so that as everybody then should have some idea of how to do straight letters, letters with straights and curves, and then letters that are all curved. So that'll be my next one, and after that I will then do a little video showing you how to fill in the gaps, okay, and that will be linked to the week 7, week 8 section. All right. Okay, so take care with the wee scissors, and good luck. All right, bye.